Awesome!
Well, hello, little boy Blue.
Kill yourself!
We all hated it as kids when nothing was good on TV. But most normal people would sit down and wait till a good show came on, or simply turn off the TV and go do something else. However, one man took it so incredibly to heart, he grew a hatred toward all those who dared watch that show. All those who had the gall, the chutzpah, the sheer disrespectful ignorance to watch Barney. This is Lee Garret Goldson. He was born on January 8th, 1995, making him 30 years old when this video was posted. Lee lives in Ontario, Canada. There's not too much known about his childhood, but it's assumed he lived a normal life. Lee was part of a band called Whitecap Grave, which he was unfortunately either kicked out of or left. It is also important to mention that Lee has diagnosed autism. As you'll be able to tell from the parts in this video, it is very apparent that his autism is severe, to say the least. Lee spent time in a special education high school on account of his special needs. It was during this time that his hatred for the most traumatizing, awful, disgusting, horrendous show of all time, Barney, developed. During his time in high school, TV shows would be played for students, the most common of which was Barney. According to Lee, Barney was played for 2 hours each day. This pissed Lee off so much that he wrote an entire manifesto to the school, which states, "Hello, Resource Department. I've written to discuss some issues I have had so I can clear my mental state and further progress into an adult. I've written this paper to describe some terrifying experiences throughout my life, more specifically regarding a certain purple dinosaur that ended up getting way too much screen time." These are his actual words, like written down, that he sent to the school. So if you thought I was exaggerating before, you don't even know the half of how much a drama queen Lee can be. Anyway, back to the manifesto. "Nothing can deter me from my hate from the show, and it is mostly caused from seeing it being played in such excess in the department. You think it's okay for students to watch a third, tripe, let alone in 2-hour blocks each day. This dude's hate for Barney extends so far that when a band he likes is merely played at the same time that Barney is, he refuses to listen to the band at all, and digs into every single bad thing the band may or may not have done. In grade 12, I saw Pink Floyd's Pulse concert being played on the smartboard next to student name, watching Barney and Friends. You know what Pink Floyd also made? The Wall, which is a movie where a drugged up rock star isolates himself from the rest of the world, descends into madness because unable to have sex with his wife. You people are so obsessed with showing them Barney that I'm scared of even listening to Pink Floyd in fear that I might end up liking them, and by proxy, liking Barney as well. So to put this in a less insane, more digestible portion, Lee Goldson's hatred for Barney is due to the constant playing in 2-hour portions during school time. He hated it so much that he felt the need to write an entire manifesto, and since Pink Floyd happened to be merely playing at the same time Barney was, he won't listen to them at all. This is when he donned his 4chan armor and took arms alone in his great crusade against all of Barney. Some important backstory first. His whole crusade really started in February of 2012 when Barney was run before My Little Pony on Children's Network. For some reason, this became his favorite thing to reference. He often posted this image. It became sort of his calling card. Wherever that image was present, Lee Goldsson was most likely behind it. Since his crusade started, Lee has coined a new word, that word being Barney F***, which was coined in August of 2012. This word is given to people he believes to be fans of Barney, or simply people he does not like. Ever since then, it's been estimated that he spends up to 18 hours a day just posting on 4chan. Some of his most iconic posts include beauties such as his amazingly written poem/song, which I'll read for you guys right now. Die, you fucking Barney F***. Now there's retardation in your eyes, like that downy that won't die. Die, you fucking Barney F***. You were fucked in the crossfire of Leach and Parker, clutched in their tight grasp. Fuck off, you f*** with retarded laughter. Fuck off, you man-child, you retard, you downy, and die. I hope you die in a dune. I hope you die soon. Die, you fucking Barney F***. Taught by those who aren't right, his purpleness filled your sight. Die, you fucking Barney F***. End scene. We're not quite done yet. There's also how he would raise his children, how he apparently speedruns Doom, and how he was a victim of Barney. Oh, also, how he's a cartoon connoisseur because he chooses how not all children's shows are bad. There are hundreds upon thousands of messages containing very simple phrases that Lee's taking a huge liking to. For example, kill yourself and calling people Barney F. Lee terrorized the My Little Pony board for a long ass time until one identified user found his DeviantArt account. And wow, did Lee have something to say on there. Like reviews of Barney episodes, such as this one where he states, "Did I mention how much I hate Barney and Friends? I mean, yeah, no shit. Of course you're supposed to. But considering the rise of social acceptance of the retards that like this piece of shit show, I feel I need ammunition to try and make them stop letting stupidity rise within our nation." The episode I watched was Let's Help Mother Goose. Starts out with the kids at school again as usual. They try to locate mysterious eating sound. They summon the giant purple demon to help find the voice. Yada yada yada. He just keeps on going on and on. But I mean, it's pretty obvious. This guy's a little insane. As you can see, he's still hating on Barney. At this point, people started picking up on him, and they started sending him some videos to troll him. Here, I'll just let you look at him.
Hey, it's Bob West. How are you? All the boys in QA said that they wanted me to say hello and to say thanks. But the thing is, they didn't really want me to say thanks. They wanted somebody else to say thanks, somebody that you know. And I know, and his name is Barney! Hi there, Lee! How are you? Oh, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Or maybe it was just yesterday. I don't know. When was the last time you watched the show? Oh, goodness. Oh, we had so much fun together, didn't we? Oh, my goodness gracious. You know, they tell me that the only thing that you love more than Barney and Friends is cheese. And I suppose you already get your daily allotment of cheese, so maybe you don't get your daily allotment of me.
Anyway, back to DeviantArt. Lee's first post on DeviantArt reads, "Never thought I'd see the day when I'd post a journal on here, but I guess here I am. In case you don't know who I am, I'm a proud brony hater that will try anything he can to convince bronies why they shouldn't be obsessing over their show, in public. I'm also a prog/metalhead who has gone to relevant sites to gush over it, where it's appropriate. I might not talk a lot on here, but that's sort of how I am. If I do have something to say, I'm going to speak my mind on it." Anyway, that's me in a nutshell. For people who like this, please enjoy the rest of your day. In this one, Lee was filled with great sorrow. Last night was a very dreadful event to a few people, but provided lulls to many other. Basically, the official anti-brony forums got raided by bronies. How did this happen? Well, on /MLP, some people decided to make fun of us anti-bronies by posting pictures of our actions and ridiculed them, as per usual. One of these bronies found the anti-brony site and decided to start spamming it because of lack of activity. I was looking at the thread as I watched it unfold, and as one started spamming, others followed until the amount of pony porn and gore spammed by the bronies outweighed that of the actual content of us anti-bronies. Eventually it got so bad that while a lot of it was eventually deleted, the site was taken down. During this off time, one of the bronies managed to register the domain for their own good, claiming the territory as their new porn board, till it was gone for good. I didn't necessarily feel great sorrow for this site, because I didn't use it that much. I'm not sure which side disappoints me even more, the bronies for being immature as usual, or the anti-bronies for not taking action when it was needed. If we're supposed to be this unstoppable force to be reckoned with, we shouldn't be such pushovers. Think about it, if we really wanted to end this bullshit, we would have been online more often and got more active security. We need more strength in numbers. We need to actually strengthen ourselves up so that we can live up to our name, because right now, I'm not believing in you people. Lee truly hates all bronies and Barney enjoyers for quite literally no reason. You can see from his favorites that he also liked to enjoy lots of My Little Pony hatred art. Here are a few of my favorites. Oh, and apparently he liked Pokemon porn, so that was a thing. He also became at least semi-aware that he was a lolcow, as you can see here. So I just found out today that I have my own Know Your Meme article. I'm just at a loss for words right now. Maybe it's just me, but it feels really weird to have an article made on something you've created. Maybe it's a sign of progress for what I've done thus far, but again, it's probably just me. Maybe people will actually see these Barney for what they are, but then again, it could have the opposite effect. I really don't know anymore. Oh, and don't forget about this apparent feud he had with the brony a long time ago. So this guy has decided to block me simply because he thinks I'm generalizing and because he thinks I'm attacking him. Even though quite a few times he resorted to using caps lock for all the words in his post, when I haven't done that. I haven't made any death threats on his well-being. I was just making observations on his hypocrisy. Since he decided to block me, I'm gonna reply to some of these posts he made. Well, are you one to talk? How do you know I don't watch childish stuff, And another thing, I noticed you don't have many friends as watchers. I can assume that you don't have any friends because the way you treat people you don't know anything about. Well, if I did, I wouldn't try to claim I made a show for a preschooler mindset, yet try to make myself look like one manly motherfucker. Also, the reason you have more watchers and friends than I have is because MLP is a magnet for autists galore, and of course they'll flock to sheep and herds to channels like yours. You are assuming we all like Barney because a few f***s like it. You are acting like an ass, my friend. I can really see why not a lot of people like you. Oh boy, here we go with the not all bronies argument again, aren't you? I don't feel like I need to explain this. I feel anti-brony coalition has summed up why this argument doesn't work. I don't need to say much more here, except from the fact that he and this guy decided to block me only proves that they are unable to form intelligent enough arguments to take apart mine. They realized they were wrong and decided to take the easy way out and block me. If you really need to block this user, but I wouldn't say I'm all for it unless it's needed. He also made an edit. Please ignore this post, we have since made up, and we have pretty much put this whole issue behind us now. This will only stay up as a means of archiving history. He also had a little scuffle in the comments. Lee is an interesting fellow, to say the very least. On August 24th, Lee had a run-in with a real quote-unquote Barney IRL, which I'll read for you now. So today I was in church because my mother made me, and I didn't feel like going because I knew there'd be this one Barney that would make me end up going on the Barney-hating rampage that I do today. I surveyed the church to see where he was, so I knew I could confront him and tell him not to do it again. What do you know? That disgusting Barney lover and his family was right there at one of the exits, just looking out at everyone, as if they think he's so good. Before their closing hymn was sung, I walked out of the church to find them. I told them that their son should stop watching Barney and Friends. I told him that it wasn't right for him to be of the age he was and still watch Barney and Friends, because seriously, he really shouldn't. He watched it pretty much religiously, like 2 hours every day when I was in high school. The one he watched the most was Be My Valentine, Love Barney. I told him that my dad wouldn't let me get Super Princess Peach for Nintendo DS because he thought it was a girl's game. If I was in this Barney fact situation and I wanted something Barney related, I would have done the same here. I didn't try to insult him or anything, I didn't resort to name calling, I just said what was going on and why it should matter. Just the bare facts. They were wondering if he did watch Barney, pretty much pretending that they didn't know about his habits, but I told them whoever's responsible to stop it, including the special ed department at school. We went our separate ways, and I got that out of my system, thankfully. To be honest, I felt better after giving them that peace of my mind. Now they know how their actions affect others, who are disturbed by their offspring's actions. Good thing too, I just needed to vent real hard after keeping it in for so long. So yeah, that was all I really wanted to say. I just want to share my experience today. If anybody who's reading this wants to share their experience with me, go right ahead. Going back to 4chan now, most of his posts contain him simply complaining over and over again about how his Barney is shitty show and how all bronies should die, you know, the usual autism activities. But this insane and downright stupid behavior got him a prestigious spot at his own thread in the gossip site known as Kiwi Farms. The user JenSupays is the one who originally posted this thread going over everything we've already gone over. However, that one post is not where it ends, or it would not be a thread, would it? JenSupay digs deeper in this thread, discovering new posts by Lee, which become increasingly more and more unhinged. The first post was discovered on July 18th, 2015, when Lee was asked why he does what he does. Lee started to get paranoid, believing that the Barney creators were out to get him, so he started to plan to kill them. I'm being dead ass right now. Anyway, remember a little while ago when I said Lee was semi-sentient, that he was a lolcow? Well, to many people's surprise, Lee himself added to his own thread and started to answer questions personally. Okay, fine. If you guys actually want to talk to the lolcow himself, I'm here. Getting right to the meat of the conversation, Lee was asked, why are you so incredibly violent toward the woman who created Barney? And why do you think people would reward you for murdering her? He responds with, good question. To be fair, I sort of acted that way impulsively because I knew the effect that her show had on me and others, me mostly. I can't say I feel the will to do it now, considering how I currently have different plans for my life. I thought that she had known what she had done, and did it to mess with the world as it is. I had thought she was the creator of all destruction, that went out to get me and my life by making the most sterile bullshit possible and using it to infect me. I thought people would reward me because I knew how other people had hated the series as much as I did. I felt that I would have done the world a favor by doing the thing that everyone thinks of doing, but nobody has the balls of actually doing it. He's now asked, I've seen your post. You think that going to university and getting a degree would make people see you as rational when you actually decide to do it. Most of the world would see you as a cold-blooded murderer that had killed an elderly woman in her home. I've also seen you talk about degenerates and how you wish you would kill them. So why, of all the instances, that you never do it? He responds, to be fair, I'm a man of many opinions. One problem is that I'm very inconsistent with my beliefs. They're always changing depending on my mood. Right now though, I'm trying to get myself to calm down and not think about it. I say the MLP clip in particular got me to reevaluate if I really should go about being the way I am. I can't really feel angry right now, and anger is what got me to be the way I was in the first place. Right now, however, I'm trying to focus more time on things I like, such as Doom, as well as further introspection to inspect how I'd gotten this way to begin with. Is your dream of being a 4chan mod affected by all of this? Because anytime you get like this, you always talk about how you wish you could have been made one, so you could do what you wanted. Lee responds with, well, right now, I think it would be nice, mainly because it would make me happier. Not completely satisfied with my life, but I get at least some sort of control over something. Not in your current plans, killing an elderly woman should not be in your plans at all. If you truly want to turn over a new leaf, you should forget about her. Then Lee responds with, you can say I'm trying to do that right now. Like I've said, whenever I thought about doing it recently, I can't really get angry. I can't feel the anger that made me want to do it in the first place, which probably means I won't do it. The problem with turning over a new leaf now is I tried doing that in February and quickly relapsed. Now that I tried doing it, it'll just be like the boy who cried wolf, and people will think I won't actually go through with it. This back and forth continued on and on up until November 21st in 2016, where Lee got doxxed by a 4chan user, and Lee, being the smarty pants he is, confirmed the dox himself. I will not be showing this dox post for obvious reasons, but I will read the reaction he provided. Okay, I believe that this has gotten out of control. My personal information on here has been compromised, and my friends has been informed that this has happened through a message someone sent to him on Facebook, with a link attached to this thread. He is shocked, extremely upset, and nervous now that his safety is in jeopardy as well. I want to clarify a few things with you. 1. Yes, I've had negative thoughts toward disabled people before, but I can say that with almost certainty that I have not or will not ever act on such thoughts. I know they are bad. We all have inner emotions towards certain people that we will never act on. 2. As an autist, these emotions are out of my control. I realize they are long, but it's difficult for me to contain these emotions. 3. My brother never knew about the severity or extreme thoughts I had. I would keep it hidden on my laptop from him, and he would trust me that I would not act impulsively online. Unfortunately, I did, and I realized I cannot take those words back. 4. Yes, I've been ranting about this group for people of years for now. It was worse before, as I was in an environment with them every weekday at school. Now that I'm out of high school, my thoughts towards them have been much less severe, but up until this day, I would defend my opinions relentlessly because of my pride and dignity. I hate losing an argument, and I would try to push my points for the sake of not being wrong, and I would try to push my point even if it meant making contradictory statements. Lastly, as an autist, I have trouble communicating my thoughts. What I say online is out of sheer impulse, and again, much of the time, that is a reason my arguments would not make sense, or be contradictory. I would spend countless hours on 4chan, replying instantaneously to any comments, instead of rationally thinking about through my comment. Whether it be right or wrong, my information is out there now, and I genuinely feel bad that is worse than impulsive thoughts I've had toward disabled. Were they bad? Yes, of course they are, and I realize that. But you must realize not only am I a target for anyone who wishes to get revenge on myself, but my brother and his connections are as well. I know most of you will not forgive me, and honestly, I do not expect forgiveness. People still call me names. People will still threaten me and make assumptions about my personal life. None of that really matters. What matters is me and my family's safety. It causes a lot of you trouble and time to reply to my idiotic, unreasonable remarks, and still, I sincerely apologize, but I do ask all of you one thing: move past this. The damage has been done, and there is no magical way for this all to be solved. However, all I ask is that I be treated with some kind of respect. If you feel you've reached an endgame, then feel free to leave at any time. Wow, that was a very, very mature response from Lee, and honestly, I can't blame him. Little bro, has a lot going on. But that was a very good response. I mess with it a lot. But if you thought you were done, we're wrong. Eventually, Lee stopped posting on Kiwi Farms and altogether. Except a few days later, Lee went right back to posting on 4chan. The downfall of Lee started and ended with a single post. On July 16th, 2020, instead of posting his usual image, Lee posted tracer feet fetish porn instead of his regular image. And then after that, he altogether stopped posting. Yeah, that is the unceremonious end to Lee Garret Goldson's story. Keep in mind, don't bully this guy. He already apologized, and he's autistic. But he is funny as hell. Lee, if you're watching this, Godspeed, and I hope you're enjoying a life that is free from Barney and My Little Pony.